Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie, and I will be your guide for today. Today, we're going to chat about our life path and the soul's life path versus the logic's life path, and how we're being directed. So, we'll have a little chat about it, and we'll see what other channel messages come through as well. Um, yeah, before we start, just to let you know, I am an intuitive reader. If you do want a one-on-one session with me, my links are down below. And I have a school called Amical, and that school is an intuitive school with lots of different games for telepathic games that you can test your telepathy skills and intuitive skills, and also lessons to do with all sorts of things I'm going to be moving into the dreams, I think, next, but and lucid dreaming and all of that sort of stuff, and what dreams mean and things like that. I think that's going to be my next lesson. But we just did the phase and their realms. Hey, Debbie, good to see you in the chat bar. Okay, so let's talk about and channel through some messages, if they come through, about our path, which I'm sure they will come through. Okay, the first thing that they told me a day ago, and I just put this up on Facebook, I'll start off with this just to get the engine revving, is constantly thinking that you need something sets you up to feel you lack something. And since the universe reflects your feelings, lack is all you receive. So that's something that I wrote up on the Facebook. Then I said, this is literally channeled through too. So, yeah, the more that we constantly think we need something, we're actually saying to the universe, I'm in lack of this. If you see it from that perspective, that inside out perspective, you start to realize you are in lack of it. So what does the universe do? It just sends you more of what you're in lack of. It literally only reads your feelings. When you trust that all will be supplied at the right time and need for nothing, your soul is leading the way, which always has the best interest for you and your heart. So, uh, yeah, it's a totally different feeling. Now, one of the things my team gets me to do is to sit in that position of feeling in lack of and needing something, which is usually coming from my logical mind. I need this, I need that, I need this, especially, the outside world. I need the outside world to do this for me, to do that, to bring in this, to show me this, and all of that sort of thing. And then I will feel safe in this world. And I sort of sometimes my logical mind will start to build up and it starts to yell, and get me to do things. "Oh, I better do this, I better do that, better do this," and the actions follow those thought frames, and then you've got that energy of, "I'm in lack of," because you're, like, trying to get the outside world to come to you with what you want it to come to you with, and, it's totally different feeling because when I recognize that pattern starting to build, and it does, it's like this slow, boiling frog that boils in my mind, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm in my headspace again. I'm in my logical mind trying to create my reality," which is only grabbing into the future. It's only seeking stuff outside of myself and never really feeling how I feel. And when I recognize that, I slow down, take some deep breaths, and then I feel into myself going, "Okay, imagine what it's like to actually already have that. That's already present. The universe and all its atoms and particles are already working towards my benefit, for my benefit, to succeed, to become what I've always felt I am within myself." And feeling into that, totally different feeling. And it's like at this moment in time, human psyche has been put in this roller coaster of going into that feeling and then going into this feeling and then feeling the difference. And so when you feel the difference, you can pick it up quicker. You can pick up that logical mind doing this hoo-ha earlier, and then take those deep breaths, come back into yourself and recognize that you are actually creating, that you can create what you want from your feeling base, from your heart's desires, and feeling into what that actually feels like to be that, because we are always that. It's interesting, they're telling me now that you are always that. You are always that, but your logical mind has a way of trying to take control and feeling like it has your best interest at heart. And so it starts to project things that have happened from your past out of protection to keep you in a place of being a victim or in lack of, which is like the protection is actually creating the victim feeling. And they're showing me that even in the outside world, like when something is in control in your outside world, it is a deep reflection of humanity's whole consciousness or psyche. And when we see our so-called those in charge, who they literally feel like they have our best interest at heart, because they don't believe in us. They don't believe that we can take the reins to our own inner feelings and create a beautiful world that we really want to build. And so they feel like they need to overprotect us. So they come up with all these logical rules and laws. Literally, this is what we're doing within ourselves. We're fencing off all of these thoughts and oh my God, we've got to put that in order and this in order. We've got to do it in specific ways. You can't let yourself be free to trust your feelings and your vibration. You can't allow that to happen, because what if it goes wrong? But the funny thing is, that logic, which isn't supposed to be in charge of your life, it's not supposed to create the next path or pave the way for you to create something beautiful. It can only, its job is to ground things that is in resonance with your heart's and soul's desire to begin with. So if you can't find a balanced way within yourself to recognize that, then how can you get yourself out of it? So this is why humanity is flip-flopping from one to the other, to sense what it feels like to release that program that the logical mind feels it needs to overprotect. Shout shout out to you, you have to do it this way. The rest of the world is watching you. Uh, don't worry about your feelings. It'll all sort out in the end. And then go, you know what? I need to shish that to bring myself into what it really feels like to be authentically me. My dreams coming, being in the feeling of my dreams, being in the feeling of everything working out for me. So there's these two different paths that we are taking, but n- it's like we need to find a common ground with the both of them. Um, and that's why we're flip flopping from one to the other, to find the central space of just being present in the moment, taking these deep breaths and understanding where our creations are coming from. How are we really truly creating? Because actions will always follow feelings, energy, vibrations will create thoughts. Thoughts will then create the actions. Actions will then manifest and ground into our outside reality. And if we are starting with actions, we're missing two vital points of our psyche: the feelings, and then understanding where the thoughts are coming from, and then the actions. So yeah, it's like catching ourselves in those thoughts, I suppose. Yes. And then the actions, and then the manifestation. So definitely we're missing the feeling based, and that's the feelings are coming from our soul communicating with us our higher selves communicating with us of what we really want to achieve in this world. What do we really want to be like in this world? Who do we want to present ourselves like in this world? Um, yeah, and I definitely feel this. It's like I catch myself a lot sooner, but then it's almost like the stars align or the planets align, maybe in retrograde or something like that. I don't follow the stars or astronomy, but I'm feeling like there's something happens where it's like we're going to show you more of your your unbalanced state, your logical mind taking over too much in a certain way in your life. And so it will slowly, like a slow boiling frog, boil up in your mind, and then all of a sudden you realize you're actually you're pushing yourself again, like you're pushing your work and everything that you do. And that's going to give you an opportunity, because then you'll start to see everything start to fail again in your life, because you're not coming from a balanced state of awareness. You're not including your feelings. And so you're just like, I'm pushing my way through this. This is literal programming that's been pulled over our eyes so that humanity kept working like a better how kind of thing to pull up all these, like, literally gadgets and things in our reality that we really didn't even need, but then we have to keep on holding them up. There was something that I was taken to, a little video clip of someone a long, long time ago. It was like the early 1900s, and the washing machines just came out. And this guy was trying to sell his washing machine to somebody, electrical washing machine. I don't know exactly the year, but when he approached somebody on the street, the wisdom that came out of this guy is like, "So you want me to work harder to buy your electrical washing machine to wash my clothes when I could have already put the same amount of value of work into actually washing the clothes by hand myself anyway?" See? So we've actually created gadgets outside of us that we have to hold up all this. Ah, and the world becomes this never-ending holding up material wealth, or holding up our material world. And are we actually making our life easier? I mean, you think about it, from the 1900s to now, is our life easier? Because it doesn't feel like it when we have a lot of people out in this world that are stressing over everything, can't hold, can't pay the bills and all of that sort of thing, and having to work, slogging harder to get themselves through to be able to even have a comfortable holiday, and things like that. Where if we just step back a bit and we utilized our wisdom, our logical mind, even the electricity and all those things, for the benefit of us, to give us a very easy, a much more peaceful life, then we can then focus our attention on creating things that we are in more connection to our actual reality. We can maybe start to create a feeling-based society that feels good about itself. And we actually take that into account when we're living our life, would be a fantastic thing. I do feel like there is somebody coming into my head at the moment that's speaking through me, so I'll just go with this. And yeah, I feel like it's funny. Literally picked up someone from England or something from the 1900s that already understood this. Like, they really did understand quite a bit more, and some people foresee where this was all going to take us. It wasn't going to take us to a place of harmony at all. It was actually going to build up a structured society that would be our own downfall in the end. And this is literally the path of the logical mind trying to overprotect, take control. It gives us a whole heap of things to, like, look over here, do this, distractions, because it doesn't want to feel. It doesn't want to go into the feeling base. It doesn't understand the feeling base. But our intuitive mind does. And so it's that feminine, masculine mind. The masculine's like overpowering through logic. I've done this and I've repeated this and it's worked in the past. It will keep going. And the intuitive mind's yelling, saying, hang on a sec, it doesn't feel good anymore. Hang on a sec. The outer vibrations aren't suiting that path anymore. It was a fleeting path in the moment of distraction in 1940s after the war or something like that, and now it's not really working for us, but it still will hold on to it because it worked in the past, and it won't change its mind. Very dogmatic is that logical brain, and then we are caught in this maze of just going around the same path over and over, thinking that this is the only way that reality can work. Where if we actually said shish for a while, because my imagination holds many keys from past lives and everything. It holds many keys of imaginations of accumulating things together that could actually work in this world for the benefit of our feelings as well. That could change everything. I literally feel like this is a lecture. It's like somebody who was in the 19th century that understood this and wanted to come through. It's funny because I don't usually, if anyone follows me, I usually channel off-world beings, but this is what's happening with this one. It's very human-based, and understanding that where we kind of went, you know, we were going on a mission of learning all about our outside reality, but how it literally took over so much that we never even took our feelings into account. And feelings are everything because it's the base of your initial self, like your how you actually feel is everything. It's like if you're going into a job and you don't want to be there and you're slogging at it and you feel terrible, what is the point? That is hours in your life that you haven't felt good. You come home and you do the same thing over and over. It's hours of your life that you don't feel good. Turn on the TV and you watch the same news because you've been told to do that, and makes you feel terrible every time, but you keep on doing it. There's days in your life, weeks, months, years, where you haven't felt good. And sometimes I'm starting to feel into human psyche that they've forgotten how to feel good. They've forgotten what that actually is. Go on a holiday, oh, we'll stress ourselves out more, you know. We'll go in on a holiday and break our bone or something like that. Or we'll go on a holiday and have arguments and all of that because we literally forgot what it's like to feel relaxed, calm, good, enjoying our life, secure um, in our bodies. Our stress level they're showing me like stress level of humanity's consciousness is just crazy high. um, but we think it's the norm. We're literally been programmed to thinking it's the norm when we really feel at peace with ourselves, release and all of this is why we end up grasping for alcohol or some other outside substance just to give us that, or sleeping a lot more, because we're like, we just want to have a relaxing moment while we're sleeping. Um, yeah, and so we're looking for these feelings and maybe the wrong places. They could show us how much we could feel at calm, at peace with ourselves. But it does come down to these two paths in our reality of putting our logic back in its place and saying, "Thank you so much for being the grounder of this reality, for gifting me this outside world where I can play in a playground where everything's separated and I feel separated from another person," and all of that sort of stuff. But you're not supposed to, my logical mind is not supposed to create the next path unless it's in harmony with my feelings, with my intuitive side, with my soul. It needs to be in harmony with it. And there's an agreement of, whoa, that would feel really good if that was manifested. And then tell your logical mind, this is possible. If I can feel it, it's a possibility. So it needs to just shush while I really sit in the feeling of this until my logic goes, oh, I know how to get that. I know how to think different thoughts, to produce the actions, to change to shift with you, with the vibration. And then all of a sudden, the logic will come in and go, how about we walk to the shopping mall? And and there at the shopping mall happens to be somebody that's in line with your path, and it starts to expand more. So you do the actions, logically do the actions, get in the car, turn the key, you know how to do all of that. That's all logic. Um, but it's moving with instead of against. Oh, no, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to go to, I can't go to the shops today. I have to work. I have to keep plugging at this work. It feels really bad, but I've got to keep doing it because it's going to make me, a better person. And why isn't this working? You look at your work and you go, why isn't it working? Why do I still feel bad? Yeah, we really got to put these two in their rightful place. Not to say that you don't want to be sitting in your imaginative world and just sitting there, because that's not grounding anything either. It is a coming together, an amalgamation of the logic and intuitive side, the masculine and the feminine. And I cannot stress this enough. My team cannot stress this enough. And so we are going to go back and forth with this until we find a sense of reality that fits with our authentic path, our genuineness, our coming into central self and aligning with what feels good. I move with that action as well, or those thoughts, what feels good with those thoughts, even. That thought's overprotecting me and it's not actually doing me any good because it's making me feel crap. So I've got to release it, all those thoughts of, you're useless, you can't do this, someone's better than you, there's too many people in this world, I'm nobody, all of those thoughts. They are not helping your energy alignment with that feeling that you really, really desire, that you truly, your soul is like subtly sending these feelings of you could go down this path and feel this way, feel a lot better about yourself. Yeah. Hey, everybody in the chat bar. Good to see you all. Sky, Emma, Cherie, Lindy, sorry, Celtic, Dawn. Good to see you guys. Artemis from Melbourne. Was watching your recent video, 1978 UFO resonated. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure too that 1978 UFO video will help awaken many others as well that have had those similar things happen to them or something same. I literally had contact I did have contact when I was 11 years old, and a long time ago now, but still very strong in my brain. Yeah, go have a check that video out. It's been a couple of good videos. Actually, the meetup that I did with Sky and or Yin and Tim for the New York group, that there was a lot of information that came through there. I told them, I warned them before, there's going to be a lot of information that will come through, and I don't know if I have enough time, so I kind of rushed through that one. Sorry, but I feel like I got the information out, but it does feel a little rushed. Go check that out. Lots of information about, and even breath work to do with lifting, uh, meeting, bringing our, sorry, I'm changing from one channeling to another. Yeah, bringing our cerebral spinal fluid up into the cave, the Brahma cave, the crystal palace, which is a cave that's central of the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, so that we can unlock codes and keys to be able to expand our reality. There's a lot of information in that. Yes, okay. Mary, I'm in Crazy Land, USA. Every time now and then, it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm still alive and well. Very well. Good, good on you, Mary. Yeah, it can feel a little daunting with all of this. I know with myself, I feel very central most of the time. I don't have a lot of fixed ideas in my head anymore. I've let go of a lot of pre-programmed thoughts in my head. I don't come down on myself too much, but every now and then I still feel that ounce of when success starts to come close to me, I'm like, "Ooh," and I have to release the fact that I can become more successful in this in a grounded world without trying too hard, just allowing it to happen. So these are lessons to be taught at the moment. And I want to share with you some of the things that I go through because it might just help you guys. And I do feel like sometimes they put me through things so that I can, bring them up in these chats and these channeled messages with these channel messages. I need to readjust my alignment, and I have a feeling that my YouTube will readjust with it of what I'm actually going to be doing. I feel a little bit like thin. This little kid said this to me. You spread your butter too thin because I can do so many things. I'm an artist. I'm I was a singer-songwriter. I can do music, so I brought that up on my YouTube. I'm a channeler. I can do tarot. I just and I can create games and I can create all these things and I have all these messages coming through. I want to do everything, right? But when it comes to YouTube, so to speak, I should be focusing in on one thing or the other, not a whole heap of different things. And I think this is one of my biggest problems is like this little girl that I was talking to and the young kids, they teach you so much, right? She's like, you spread your butter too thin. And that means I'm not really focusing in on one thing. So I'll see where this all goes, but some changes might be happening as I clear myself. And okay, so that could be a good lesson for yourself and how you're going to proceed. Because putting 100% into something, I always put 100% into things, but I do flip from one to another quite quickly. It's a great thing in one way because when I had little kids, I could go from really focused on my video and then really focused in on them, and it made them feel special, and yet I was still producing all my work. This is when I was creating a book called Imagine Holding Hands, back in 2011 and it was all lots of visuals and stuff like that for the young kids. But with that, because I can flip from one thing to another quickly, it makes the channeling a lot easier too. It also means that I don't focus too. I need to kind of pull my energy in and focus in on one thing solidly for so that people know exactly what I'm about. Um, yeah, it just might help you with the path that you wanna take. So let's get back into the channel messages about our 2 paths of our brain. So the soul's path or the intuitive path that comes in through our feeling base and gives us passions and desires to do things and motivates us through the heart. Um, when it does that, it's it does it in a gentle, soft way, very this is why it's very feminine based and why the feminine side of humanity has this kind of beauty and just moves in subtle moments and um when then the logical mind will go, "Oh, I love that. Now I can take it and I can push through and bring it into this reality. I know the actions to take, but it can't, if it's screaming, I need to protect, then it will always go to that default and never really listen to the subtle, passionate vibes of the feminine side of ourselves. So it overtakes through control mechanisms, and it gives you, I need to do things certain ways, otherwise it will never work. And it doesn't allow for the feeling base of the intuitive side, feeling into the vibrations of earth and the stars and all of those subtle kind of vibrations that are constantly around us, feeling into the day of today needs to be a rest day, today needs to be a happy fun day today, or even in a moment, and this moment needs to be a happy moment, this moment needs to be a rest moment. Um, and then this moment, I need to work. Now, logical brain, it's a good time to work because we'll get a lot more done because I feel satisfied with my life and I'm in balance with the rest, the play, and the work. I'm in balance with it all. Um, so that's quite a beautiful message there that's coming through. And the thing is that we will adjust is humanity in the way that we do things. We are opening up work ethics and work that align with our ability to be able to rest, play, and work, and not have a structured, it has to be specifically this 8 hours solidly at this place, um, and work, and I feel terrible while I'm doing it, but I gotta keep working. I feel in the future, those kind of jobs will become less and less and less because humanity will not put up with them and the vibration will shift with their own psyche shifting, with their own acknowledgement of feelings need to be taken into account here for me. This is my life. This is my life on this beautiful planet. I wouldn't have been brought here in this body unless I had the capability to take the reins of my life. Uh, Everyone has the capability to take the reins of their life. Like we literally look at animals like they need us, they need our help, and yet they thrive out in nature. They thrive. Yes, some animals will just become extinct and so forth, and other animals will come in and take their place, and it's a natural cycle. But humanity in their way of thinking with their logical brain taking over, we have to control everything and we have to protect everything, we have to make sure everything stays the same way, and it doesn't, it just can't. It's the flow of life is always regurgitating kind of. There's like going into consumerism and then being born again and creation. And this is the flow of life. This is evolution of all life. So as humanity's psyche starts to shift, so too will the job ethics outside of us, where companies will no longer be able to hold humanity in an 8 hour shift, 13-hour shift, all of that sort of thing, because humanity will just turn around and say, "This isn't conducive to my life, and I will create a new path that's conducive more to me and how I feel, as well as what I do in this world." And so I will predict now that over the next course of, I'm feeling like 10, 20, 30 years. I'm not saying a short amount of time, but it definitely will be, you'll be seeing incremental changes. There might be even shifts where big shifts happen real quickly, and then it will sit there for a while because it would be like humanity's consciousness has risen itself into another step, an evolutional step. And then they have to kind of get used to it. It's like that fall jumping off the cliff. And then the next is like, oh my God, I've really got to get used to the magic of myself in this vibration. So you kind of just sit there for a while, getting used to this new contents that is surrounding us or new environment that we are creating. And so it will sit there for a while and then it will take another, go up a bit and then we'll get sick of that and we'll take another leap forward and so forth. So there will be these massive shifts, but then taking a slow ride up to get used to it. But these are happening and they keep on calling it the quickenings. These are happening faster and faster and faster to the point where we just sit in love and love of self and our environment and everything. And then we are, wow, now we have reached the point of absolute true balance. And now we are fully in our human self again. No, we understanding how important our feelings are. So that's going to shift as well as we go along. It's going to be an interesting next so many just couple of decades at least, but it's definitely going to be interesting. They are telling me 226 massively. We're coming up to a complete breakdown of one way of ourselves, and going, we've had enough, and we really do get where we're going now, and it's wildfire, like the lights, like humans light within themselves is finding that, we're finding that light within ourselves and becoming it, and then it's like wildfire. It spreads out to many, many, many others because they start to see a sense and the fact that their feelings need to be they need to adjust to acknowledging their feelings as well as they go through their life. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of that happening in the next decades or so. Lots of big shifts, and it's going to be quite it's the they're showing me from a benevolent being's perspective, looking down at this, they're showing me it being like a fascinating movie, a fascinating a fascinating something happening here. And like this literal, they're saying we don't feel jealous, but if you want to put it in a word, jealousy of you guys being here. We know you've done it hard. We know, and that's another thing that they were bringing up. Yes, it's been a hard slog, but the rewards are going to be amazing because you are going to learn so much about yourself in such a fast manner. It's quite extraordinary. From their perspective anyway. And they are feeding off it as well, as we go through this journey, on this journey, in this path that we're taking. Yeah, if you feel at any point that you are hard done by and things have happened and it's really been hard, just remember this fact. 90 prob I was gonna say 90%, and they're literally saying 99% of humanity has had it hard. Like 95 at least. 95% of the humanity has had it really hard. So you're not the only one. And yes, and it just helps you realize you were here in this tough situation to break free of it, to change it, to shift it, to acknowledge that there is a better way of living. And that is the reason why we're going to shift into these better, higher vibrations in the end, because we start to have a sense of this doesn't feel good anymore. So if you're feeling like everything's good and you're constant, then you won't actually shift yourself because you're feeling safe and you're feeling good. So there is no reason to shift. So you would, as a light worker or somebody from a star being come here to help, you would have gone to another planet and helped that planet instead. So, or that reality instead. So you're here, you chose to be here. You knew you were going to go through it hard. And just remember that the whole of humanity, life after life, they have been going through what you've been going through. Persecuted, burn at stakes, the whole fnag. Like, it's been pretty tough for quite a few people out here. And then we kind of regurgitate those lives in the past lives. We regurgitate them in this life here in the now, because we need to bring them back up again. I mean, you might not be persecuted like that, but it's still the same essence or feeling coming up, so that you can recognize the lack of yourself that allowed that to happen, because you weren't acknowledging your feminine feelings and your feminine intuitive self as powerful in that moment, powerful enough to shift the story. Um, yeah. So there's definitely some just acknowledging these two paths that we're to take, putting our logic back in its rightful place, and allowing the feminine to come in, but not overtake, because you don't want to be sitting in a whole imaginary world and never really grounding anything either. So allowing your feminine power to come back in, so that it feels a sense of security around your masculine logic self, saying, yes, I acknowledge you. And then let's do this together within our own psyche of how we're going to produce the business that we want to produce, to create a path where we're not slogging it out for 13 hours a day straight and trying to pay these silly bills off. Literally, most of the money is going to somebody else anyway, and it's not even for us. So yeah, and then you might end up getting a feeling of, oh, I've got a different job I can create here. I'll use social media for blah blah blah, and I'm going to create my own path. And so, and then people start to jump in on it as well and see the value of it, because it's meeting up with their value of themselves coming into alignment as well. So yeah, there's all of this that can happen in these next so many decades, but definitely the next few years, even just the next few years, big shifts like that are going to be taking place. So it's quite exciting what's happening and what's coming up for us all. Very cool. Okay. Just reading Wade's little message. Most people in the chat today were at a soul point, kind of like in the airport, before we all came down from the 5D to the 3D. I actually have always felt this is yeah, higher dimensional aspects is it gives you a window of an unbalanced relationship to. Sorry, I just had a channel message coming through then, and then I stopped it for some reason. But there's higher aspects of ourselves before we were born, and we were in like we call it a 5D position, where we could see into these different unbalanced realities. But the 3D, it literally within this physical realm of being separated in the 3D, there's that can be just as balanced as the 5D, but we need to accept that 5D part of us as well, and then live in the 3D, knowing full well that we can come from a higher perspective and shift our story at any given moment. If we're just in a higher vibration, sometimes they're showing me too etherical, like etherical worlds, as in dreamlike, a very sensible dream, but it's still a dream where you can flip in and out of time zones and adjust yourself in different realities and all sorts of things, flicker in and out. Literal, they're showing me min balls or balls of light that come in and out of our reality. But here we are in this beautiful 3D world. Now, why not bring balance to the 3D world with acknowledging our higher self, higher aspects of ourselves? And then we can see what magic we can actually ground into the 3D world, how we can become telepathic with everything, telekinesis and all those sort of things. But we're still in the 3D world. We could actually manifest, in real time with our hands and our imagination, pulling it through threads of light, through quantum what is it, string, is it quantum Sorry, I'm getting all these like words coming through, and my logical brain's stopping them because I'm not too sure of it. Quantum connections, mechanics, string theory, all of that's sort of coming up in my head. Um, any case, we can actually pull that through and manifest through the light of oneself a fixed position of a slower vibration and material aspect of whatever we wanted to manifest. But we can also, yeah, hard labor, get in, ask the tree if it wants to be chopped down for a building, all of that sort of thing, and adjust our lives accordingly to that as well. We can actually do the physical work. So we've now got two realities here merging, and this is literally what's happening within our psyche of ourselves. So we've got a bigger playground here, where literally humanity's psyche is settling themselves down in a 3D manner, with allowing any 5D aspects to come through, 6D aspects or 7D aspects to come through, depending on your soul's evolution of where you've come from. If you've come from a higher dimension, you've got a lot more adjusting that you can do to bring through those different dimensional aspects of the observation of things. But we're going into all sorts of different, yeah, for some reason they're bringing up string theory, quantum mechanics, uh, qua there's a word there, and I feel like there's a word there that would sum it all up, and I just cannot. Maybe it's a word that's still to be developed in the human psyche, but it's a word that's amalgamating all of these different dimensions that you can tap into and pull through different threads and and then see how you want to manifest them in a physical way. And that's the magic of it. That's the magic of life, being grounded in this world. And then you'll see, like they're literally saying some magicians actually have these abilities, and the only way that they could really bring them through is to say that they're a magician. They're actual, they've got magic, but they actually do have magic, and then other magicians just are just wielding illusions. They're saying everything is residing on this world for us to be able to tap into, but we have to bypass the illusions because by tapping into our feelings, by trusting our feelings, our intuition again. We cannot do that unless we allow that logical mind to stop over protecting everything, stop creating all these rules in their heads of how things have to go. Let it go. When human consciousness starts to let that go, we'll see that change in our outside reality. Quantum entanglement. Yeah, that could be it. Wade? Yeah, quantum entanglement. Yeah, that feels good. Thanks for that. Yeah, because it's like an entanglement of all these different levels of. I love it how the chat bar joins in, and we literally help each other through the channelings. That's what I'd love to have happen, like a whole group of us, like sparking off each other, and anyway. So yeah, quantum entanglement. It does feel like we can go down these different layers of existences, and we have those perceptions within us, but the logical mind has just been trying to overprotect us from them, thinking that if we go into that, then we lose this physical world. But we want to be able to bring it through into the physical world to be able to produce the magic, so that we have these magical ways of doing things, and we don't have to rely on one person outside of us telling us what all the rules are, which is literally the reflection of our logical mind taking over. So yeah, we become the rules of our own reality. We create from moment to moment where we want to reside. It's interesting that they're showing me you can at any given moment reside from those different perceptions and bring through information And when you get used to this quantum entanglement, you can do that. You can thread through, like a thread, through these different observations of reality, and then share it with each other and see what you want to ground in this world, in your in your city, in your tribe, in your village, in your wherever you're at. And it changes up everything because you're opened yourself up to a lot more, and imagination can then spark, and humanity's consciousness just starts to thrive. Because if you can imagine, we have been locked down in this very limited space of only looking outside of ourselves for leadership, for someone to tell us we're good, all of that sort of stuff. Can you imagine? And the imagination still, because it's part of half of who we are, is still seeped through and being able to create what we've created here now, in the now. Yes, everything's segregated and separated with fences and everything, but and businesses and anyways, with their rule bases and all that, but the imagination still seeped through. Can you imagine now what imagination can do when we are free to roam all of those different dimensions through quantum entanglement, through an understanding of ourselves in higher dimensions? Wow. I can't even like, it's just gonna be wow. And this is why my team's like, "We don't even know where you guys are going completely, because you don't even know where you're going completely. Humanity's consciousness doesn't even know where it's going completely, but it is going somewhere." It's going somewhere that they're really excited about, because they wanna see where this is all gonna land, in a physical sense, in a physical, tangible sense, that tangible playground that we can play in. It's just amazing what we can do. Very cool. Okay, guys. Is there any more messages that want to fold in here? Fold in here. Come into being. Trusting oneself. Huge, huge at the moment. Learn to trust yourself, your vibration, and the meat of your reality coming towards you. Imagine every particle, every atom out there is working for you. It's working for you. It is all coming together for you to be the best version of yourself, to be your authentic self, to shine, to be happy, to thrive, to feel good. It's all working for that. In whatever way that your imagination wants to see your outside world play out. And it will play out in the end, because it's just meeting the same vibration of source energy, literally using the sun as a portal, sending new vibrations to earth. It's literally meeting those new vibrations at its best. You and that vibration meeting at its best will end up creating the world that you really want to surround you, so that you live in a beautiful moment, and in every moment of your life, and whether that be with a gorgeous house around you, beautiful people around you, the freedom to do whatever you desire, knapsack on your back and the freedom to travel, whatever it is, you have this capability within you to manifest and ground that reality in your field of existence once you come into absolute faith and trust of yourself, and your outside world working for you, just as your inner self, you're now working for your inner feelings. You are, as a consciousness, deciding upon the feelings that you want to bring in, so that you can then ask your outside reality to match those feelings. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, and then we all come together and share, right? And help each. It's I just love the thought of a whole big group of people coming in and allowing no jealousy, no, none of that. No, oh, I've got to say this because I've got to be the best. No, it just flows. Like, it's just a flowing example of channel messages coming through from your soul and your wisdom of what you want to share. And if it's not shared with those people and really embraced, then move to another group. Like, you'll find your people. You will find your people. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing less than. Nobody is less than. Everybody is moving towards the right realities of creation, of what they want to create in this world, and how they want to feel in this world, how they would definitely want to feel in this world. Fantastic. Okay. So we are moving towards the right reality, and don't worry too much about that to and fro. Just keep finding central space whenever you feel like your logic's trying to overpower you and force you into you have to. If you feel you have to, you're going the wrong way. It should be I really am passionate about this and I love to do this moment from moment to moment to moment. Yeah. So I think I'll leave it here, guys, until I go live next. And yeah, just keep a tab on my YouTube. I usually put it up the day before when I'm going to go live. And yeah, we'll see what happens next. Also, with my Amical, I will be going into I feel I'm going to go into dreams and uh, analyze dreams and that sort of thing. There's so much more that can come through dreams because we have benevolent beings that can come and enter dreams and all sorts of things. I have a lot that I can share about dreams because I've analyzed the crap out of them, being a Virgo times five. um, and I've had so much, visions and stuff like that as well. So, project. Um, Dreams of the future, predictions, lucid dreaming. I've done all of that. Astral traveling within my dreams. Yeah, things coming true that I never thought would. Yeah, so there's a lot to discuss within that. And I think I'm just going to be doing 3 coin games next. So very simplistic because I've got other things going on at the moment in my beautiful family life. Okay, guys, love you. Until next time. Bye.